Hello, and welcome to the Graveyard Media Podcast, episode 71 for the week of December 17th, 2018. I'm your host, Saine Grey. With me is Dalsson.
And
Thel.
I had no idea what I was going to say on that
one. A whole ass intro to introduce me, to help introduce me. I feel honored. Now I gotta fucking say something funny. I don't know what the hell to do.
You always have something funny. What the fuck?
So, how about
hang on. Take a drink. Take a drink from your cup first, and then you'll think of something funny.
So how about that joke Jerry Seinfeld make about airplane food? The fuck? Anyway.
All right.
That wasn't that funny.
Okay.
That wasn't that funny. No, it wasn't.
Let me put you on the spot.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to start by talking about games and movies we've checked out this week, and then head into some news of, like, the two things that happened this week.
Yeah.
It might be a pretty short episode, because I also haven't done anything.
And, well, you could talk a little bit about Sorry to Bother You.
Let me say this at the beginning of the podcast. I have been so busy recently that I have just quit streaming.
Yeah.
Temporarily, but indefinitely. So, I pretty much don't have anything to talk about but the one movie I saw, which Thel has already talked about.
I mean, I've already talked about it, but like you can talk about it too. And actually, I have not talked about it extensively. I actively didn't.
Oh, that's right.
I saw a couple movies though.
But I think Thel should start because he always does.
Yeah. Which movie should I start with? Let's just fucking go in chronological. I always feel like that's a good idea. Chronologically this week, the first movie that I saw was Crimes of Garden Hose. This is a movie that Saine saw last week. It's Newt Scrying Eye goes around and does things that don't have anything to do with the plot. You know everything that Saine said about this movie last week? Pretty much I have the exact same thoughts. There was a big reveal near the end of the movie, like right before the climax, about the familial ties of Newt Scaramantula's like fucking like brother's fiance. And about how her, like, father was someone. And I was sitting there wondering, because I watched the first movie, did I fucking miss something? Was there, like, a mini-series or something that went about this lady's stuff? And then I was informed later, actually, that this was important and really interesting because of the fact that Newt's brother's fiance was like her adopted father was actually related to Harry Potter's godfather and Voldemort's henchman. So, you know, we were really breaking some fucking walls there. The guy who did
I don't think it fucking mattered at all, and they hardly.
That's just how the darts landed that day.
They like
on the inclusion spectrum dartboard.
It's like I only barely remember that character from the first movie anyway.
That character wasn't in the first movie. She was alluded to in the first movie.
Oh. No, I thought she was there too, wasn't she?
I don't think that she was like actually in the first movie. I thought that she was like a plot device that was used for the Auror lady to be like, oh, you actually have a different girlfriend? And then he wistfully looks into the side and, she was my high school fling, but I don't like her anymore. And this is a horrible misunderstanding, and I have feelings for you now. When the movie was actually about that man. Well,
yeah, I don't even remember, like, if... I feel like she must have been in the first one, but I didn't remember the first one hardly at all anyway, so...
Yeah, I remember a little bit of the first one, mostly because it was so baffling. And what's really, really baffling to me about this particular movie, so J.K. Rowling, right? When the first movie was like coming out and like in production and like the buzz was going around the new this fucking Fantastic Beasts movie and everything, J.K. Rowling was constantly saying like, I want to make a fuck ton of these. I got a plan to make a shit ton of these. And coming into this movie, it almost didn't feel like it. It felt like So the last movie ended in a way that made sense and sort of ended, but we got to bring all of this stuff back. So we're just gonna kind of hand wave some stuff away. Dude who had his mind erased. I came back. It didn't work on me. I'm back, but things are different now. The dude who was arrested broke out of jail, and that was the first thing that happened. And honestly, the only actual crime that Grindelwald did was break out of jail.
Isn't it called The Crimes of Grindelwald?
Essentially, all the man did was host a KKK.
Well, he killed people at the end.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. He did murder a couple of people. So those
they say,
in fact, crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah, they say, like, crimes of Grindelwald as if he does anything in this movie, but it's like, he just sort of escaped from jail, and then at the end he kills people because people crash his party. Yeah. And, like, that's about it.
Like, this is essentially the setup for the crimes of Grindelwald that are
the crime of Grindelwald.
He hosts a secret KKK meeting that he announces by covering all of France in black silk, which secret, I thought wasn't terribly inconspicuous, but I mean, I ain't a fucking dark wizard. I don't know how this shit works, so.
Well, it was supposed to be it was supposed to be super conspicuous to wizards, I guess. Oh, yeah. And everyone else, maybe it was just invisible? I don't know.
Maybe. Right. I mean, everyone else was just sort of walking around. I thought they were in, like, wizard France, where they had to, like, go through the statue to get there. But everyone else was just sort of walking around like it never fucking happened, so maybe. What the fuck else? I swear there was something else I was going to say about this. That might be about it. I mean, that's pretty much all I really have to say about the crimes of Grindelwald. Fucking nothing happened in the movie. A bunch of, like, reveals happened. None of them had anything to do with our fucking main character. They were all, like, side characters. Actually, wait. Speaking of that, some of the fucking reveals don't make any goddamn sense. For instance, there's the lady who was, like, related to the whatever and stuff, who happened to be secret stepsisters with this other guy. And that doesn't make a ton of sense terribly because of the fact that the other guy in the first movie was dropped off at, like, a super anti-witch school. And that was, like, the whole plot point of the first movie. But she went to Hogwarts. Did the half-elf lady just, like, fucking hate this baby or something? And just, like, drop him off at the worst place ever?
So they didn't ever say, okay? Mm-hmm. But here is what I thought happened.
All right.
I was under the impression that they found out that it wasn't the right baby. Mm-hmm. And then the father guy killed, or like, was just like, get rid of the baby. I don't care about it anymore. And I think, and then they talked about how, like, they covered up how it died and whatever, but it died.
Okay.
So I was under the impression that the father guy set that in motion, but I don't actually know. Right. Because they never said.
I suppose that would make sense, all things considered.
Because everybody knew that the son, or everybody thought that the son died, but it didn't die, it was given away, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except the actual one.
The actual one
was thought to be dead, yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, the other one did die.
Yeah, the other one, the one that was actually the real son did die, and then it was replaced by this other son that was, I don't want to go into spoilers for this movie. Because
there's, like, one spoiler.
That I
didn't really want to, like, spoil. There was, like, one thing.
It, like, happens at the very end of the movie, and it feels kind of inconsequential, but it's like, oh yeah, actually I do remember something like this being mentioned in passing in the last Harry Potter book. I
feel like it was something that was alluded to throughout several points in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Anytime they talked about the relevant character, and how he related to that character, but it was like they never went into it in Harry Potter because it was about Harry Potter. It wasn't about that character. Yeah. But like.
But now we're in fucking Newt Scamander's world, where the entire movie isn't about him, which is weird because he definitely does have a lot of the screen time. It's just,
it just feels like he's going places and things are happening around him. It's almost like you're watching a movie where he's the bystander. Like, it's weird.
You just sort of like that scene that worked really, really well in Children of Men, where the man like runs through the battlefield in one long take, and the battle is happening around him. But if that character had absolutely nothing to do with the battle and was just sort of showed up there, and then the movie ended.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It was just a movie about him. Like, things happened because he was there. He just didn't do them. It's just dumb. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway about it. In the end of the day, I gotta give this movie a 10 out of 10 because there was, in fact, a kappa in this movie. And you know
There
what?
was a kappa.
Y'all know I love me some fucking Japanese frog goblins.
I was surprised. I was surprised to see the kappa. I was like, "Oh shit, that's a kappa."
Yeah, I was pretty much like, "Is that that's a goddamn kappa in that fucking bathtub?" All right, hell yeah, I can gel with that. We're gonna have some fantastic beasts in this bitch. That was what was promised to me in the title.
Also, there was like that Chinese cat thing. The only thing that he did the entire movie was let that thing out.
Yeah, was capture that thing and then let it out. He did it, and yeah, it was like you said. When he just like accidentally fucking the thing about the mole stealing the secret Grindelwald thing for Gandalf was like really weird because it seemed like the mole absolutely did that on accident, but in the end, Scamander like busts that shit out like, "Hey, I got this important plot thing for you, Gandalf. Take it." Like, boy, you didn't plan that shit. That just happened. It ended up in your fucking pocket.
Gandalf?
Yeah, Gandalf.
Right,
from Star Wars.
Yeah, I don't like. It's just. He acted as if he planned it, and then but like in the moment, it was like he was not paying attention to that at all. So
it's like, wait a second, is this man holding a KKK rally? Why are we here? This is a bad idea.
I feel like
fucking dude crawls out of the pocket, grabs the shit, and just runs back.
I really do feel like this is such a minor thing, but I really do feel like the whole movie would have just been made better had they added a scene every time one of his like pets did something where he goes, "Hey pet, do this thing for me." And that would have fixed it, because it would have made him feel like he was in control of things.
Yeah. Rather than just, sort of sitting there and having things happen around him. Yeah, it was not a super good movie, I'm gonna be honest.
And the stupid mole thing, that what annoys me the most is like there were people there with jewelry and shit, and they didn't it didn't show him stealing other stuff. It was just like, no, you went after the one singular thing because why not?
Yeah, and this man, and that thing was like silver, and these things like go specifically after gold, which I think was set up in the previous movie.
I think it went after shiny things, but gold.
Oh, okay, that
gold was like the major thing, but it was anything shiny, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, it just went after that. It went after that, and then it stopped its stealing spree. It was done. It was good. It didn't need any more. It just needed that one thing.
Actually, yeah, early on in the movie, they show it stealing a silver spoon.
Oh, okay.
So. Yeah.
All right. Setting that shit up.
I mean, it almost would have been smart had like the movie been written better.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sick of this movie. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna talk about J.K. No. I'm going to talk about Damien Chazelle's First Man. So Damien Chazelle is a man who directed Whiplash, which was really, really good. And La La Land, which everyone really, really loved, and I thought was pretty good too. Overall, Whiplash is better, and still probably the best one. But First Man is really, really good too.
For those of you who don't know, First Man is about the moon landing.
Oh yeah, movie. Yeah. It is a biopic about Neil Armstrong and his. What's essentially, it's a movie about a man struggling as he loses everything and decides to go on a suicidal mission, almost hoping that he never comes back. It's a pretty depressing movie. It's got this very it's sort of spliced with depression and tension. It has this general structure, right? The general structure of the movie is incredibly intense space or airplane flight sequence that has you on the edge of your seat every 3 seconds. To Tree of Life style Neil Armstrong at home trying to deal with the loss of everyone from his daughter to his friends who died in the previous attempts at getting into space. And these all, of course, sort of blend into each other and then mesh in the very last scene where he goes to the moon. Spoilers. But Neil Armstrong does, in fact, land on the moon in the end of the movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
You know, my grandmother knew someone. My grandmother knew someone who died in the Challenger explosion.
Oh, wow.
So,
oof. Yeah,
it was like a classmate or something.
I knew someone who's like one of my classmates, like great uncle or something was Neil Armstrong. I don't remember anything about her, but she like brought that shit, and we were like, oh, that Armstrong. Oh, you're that's why your name is that. Okay, we were wondering about that shit, but we just assumed that there was like that's a pretty common name. But well, alrighty then. But yeah. No, what was it?
Who plays Neil Armstrong?
Ryan Gosling. Who does a fantastic job of being emotionally unavailable and depressed.
Are there scenes where he stares off into the distance off camera?
Oh, absolutely. That's essentially the entire movie when he's not going to space.
See,
oh, good. The patented Ryan Gosling stare off into space for 5 minutes.
Stare into the moon. Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that Neil Armstrong missed the one opportunity he'll ever have in his life to carve his face into the surface of the moon using his perfect style of alchemy.
You see, now that's the thing. He actually did do that. There was a whole sequence where he like strapped a giant laser to the rocket ship, flew it around, and then like painstakingly and very tensely sort of carved an image of his own face into the moon and wrote under it, "Suck it, bitches."
Except he did it on the dark side of the moon, so that's why you can't see it.
Except he did it on the dark side
nobody
of the moon.
Okay,
nobody ever figured it out. The reason that a lot of people, and not a lot of people know this, the reason that a lot of people think the moon landing is fake is because Stanley Kubrick did go to the moon with them, and he directed the laser. And he's still on the dark side of the moon.
That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
Where the Transformers found him and then gave him a ride home.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It was a very. I'm really glad that they spent time with this really overlooked part of history. Anyway, on to what actually happened in the movie. But yeah, one of the things that is really nice is like constantly in the movie the moon. I wanted to say the titular moon, but the moon is nowhere in the title. The moon is always hanging in the background, sort of just as this not only goal, but this terrifying thing. The movie is very much about the amount of loss that was put into the space program. It doesn't play it as like a triumphant victory. It plays it as like a thing that was just that took lives until we finally reached some sort of place where Neil Armstrong could finally cry over the loss of everything that he had lost.
Something tells me that they really really played up the drama in this, because Ryan Gosling does not seem like the same kind of person as Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
Is that like not fair to say?
I would say it's probably fair to say. I feel like they did probably overplay the drama a little bit.
Like, I get what they're going for, and I it's fine. Yeah. Like, I understand why, but it just it seems like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting choice, if nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and It might be, but one of the things that the movie it does play on is the fact that Neil Armstrong was very incredibly determined to go to the moon. Like, there wasn't a point in time where he was like, I don't know if I should be doing this. He was like, when everyone else around him was like, I don't know if we should be doing this, he was like, no, listen, we gotta fucking do this. Like, at this point, we've come too far. We gotta fucking do this, though.
Too many people have fucking died for this moon.
Yeah, too many people have died. I'm gonna go to the moon, but you could die. Good. Fuck it.
Well, it's a good thing that he made it before King Piccolo blew it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why the tides don't exist anymore. Rest in peace. But yeah. First Man was a very, very, very good biopic. All of the things worked really, really well, and I really can't overstate this enough. The sound design in this movie is fucking incredible. It sounds gorgeous, and the sound design is what really leads intensity to like every one of like the flights. From like the very first scene is a really, really intense like airplane flight where he sort of breaks the atmosphere and just sort of, hovers there for a little bit before needing to regain control, and just like the constant sound of metal creaking and the rumbling that just goes on throughout the cabin is just, it just adds that. Damien Chazelle is great at building tension, and I'm disappointed he didn't really get to use that in La La Land, but he's back, bitch. It's wonderful.
Yeah, they're too busy singing.
Yeah. Also, the music in this movie is really good, of course, because Damien Chazelle knows who to hire for that shit. He's probably got fucking friends from back when he went to jazz college. And that was another weird thing. This movie didn't have one of his signatures. Man talks about jazz for 2 hours. Not in this movie, strangely enough. But, you can't win them all.
But yeah, Ryan Gosling was in it again, so,
Yeah,
well, that's good.
Yeah.
So there's just implied jazz.
Yeah, there's just implied jazz. There was a point where Ryan Gosling played some like some sort of jazzy music, but it wasn't like the same kind of Damien Chazelle jazz that he really goes into. But Damien Chazelle wanted to make a different movie. That was essentially the reason he wanted to do this. And Damien Chazelle is still a fantastic filmmaker, and I'm still excited for more from him. Thank you, Damien Chazelle. Thank you for this good movie. I watched Crimes of Grindelwald and fucking Neo Yokio this week. I needed this shit, god damn it. Fuck. Anyway.
Do you think it was worth watching Crimes of Grindelwald for purposes of, like, the Jupiter Ascending test?
Yeah, probably.
Because I almost wanted you to see it just because it was such a good distillation of that.
Yeah, it was very much.
Yeah, you said last week it's exactly what you're talking about.
Harry Potter reasons and to set up future movies.
It's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen that does not stand on its own at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch this movie in a vacuum, it'd be like, what the fuck? What did I just watch?
Yeah. And that's it's essentially the assumption that you wouldn't watch this movie in a vacuum. Like, then the more time that goes on this fucking year, and the more Hollywood movies I see, the more I think I was a little hard on Infinity War. I was being a little bit harsh to it when it first came out, because Infinity War absolutely did have a plot structure. It definitely stood on its own. It had a lot of things that I can look back and say, that was a pretty good thing that happened. It had a really good villain. I thought Thanos was just fan-fucking-tastic. There was some good shit that happened in Infinity War. Uh-oh. Is it me?
Is it me?
I'm not sure.
I think it's me because I don't hear it.
Well, anyway.
I don't actually hear it either.
Yeah, I actually, when I came out of Grindelwald, I also compared it to Infinity War, because I was like, this was the other movie that I saw this year that was very clearly like the first half of a major movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it still felt like it had
it had
like an a start, a middle, and end.
I talked about this when we all saw Infinity War. I talked about this. Like, if you take it from the perspective of Thanos, it follows a traditional structure.
Yeah.
Like, it's got like he shows off in the beginning, and then like towards the middle he has this minor defeat, and then in the end he wins this big victory. And if that were the end of the movie and Thanos were the main character, then that would be it. That would be the movie. But
And honestly, that really, from where the movie ended off with, I kind of am excited to see what they sort of do with Thanos' character in the next one, just because of the fact that, like, he's fucking done. He did all of the things that he set out to do. Essentially, he's living in his perfect world. I want to see him, like, just completely, like, fight the Avengers with, like, just hints of sadness. Like, can you not see the perfect world that I built? I don't want to fight you. We're done. We don't need to do this. Stop fighting me. I know what I want to do. I'm fucking outski. I just want to, like.
He is kind of an arrogant asshole, though. So he still has potential to, like, want to fight.
See, like, though, Thanos' plan falls apart when in another couple 100 years he's just gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, but that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in his mind, it's like, oh yeah.
Also, Thanos is
down
like
to my son.
Thanos fucking lives forever.
Yeah.
Also, like in the comics, if you want to like get really into it, Thanos actually can't die.
Yeah.
Because
but also in the comics, he only did that to impress Death.
Part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. But like the Marvel incarnation of Death herself literally will not let him die to punish him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like,
which is what essentially like it's like Death really likes Deadpool because, you know, he can't die, but he gives her so much, and she just, like, essentially Thanos tried really hard to fuck Death, and she just fucking gave him the biggest L in the universe, and now he can't die. That's what you get, bitch.
She's all like, "No, Thanos, you have to stay on Earth because you keep killing people, or have to stay alive because you keep killing people. I want you to keep killing people for me." It's basically what it is.
I am Death, and I will embrace everyone except you. I have a restraining order against you. You are not allowed to come within 50 feet of me.
Okay.
What I'm excited for in Infinity War 2 is to see what kind of giant ass pull they pulled to get all of the characters that disappeared back.
I mean, Soul Stone.
Yeah, they have they get the Infinity Stones and they bring them back.
Spoilers for the movie that hasn't come out yet.
They collect the Dragon Balls and make a wish.
Yeah, bring Krillin back.
All right. Speaking of superhero movies based on Marvel properties, why don't we talk about Spider-Man?
Oh boy.
Enter the Spiderverse.
Oh, did you see it?
I did.
Hell yeah. What'd you think?
It was fucking great.
That's
expected.
I'm pretty sure like every Rotten Tomatoes review of this is the best Spider-Man movie ever made. And then there's one negative review that says, I don't like it. It was okay. And then everyone else is like, this is the best shit that I've fucking ever seen in my life. Holy fuck. So yeah, I'm excited.
It's such a weird movie because it feels like a movie that just shouldn't exist. Like, Sony has not done the greatest job of treating its properties very well. Like, even when you go back and watch, like, the original trilogy of Spider-Man movies, those ones are really goofy. Like, they don't take the source material very seriously. And then they almost do the worst thing, which is take it too seriously in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. And also kind of fuck up Peter Parker's character quite a bit.
Right.
So this movie had a pretty large ensemble cast and handled them pretty well.
Oh, good.
Each of the characters had like their own moments and kind of their own like funny things. I feel like the only character I feel like we didn't get enough of was Spider-Man Noir, who was played by fucking Nicolas Cage.
That was one of the fucking things I saw in Letterboxd for this movie was I cannot believe that Nicolas Cage is in 2 of my top 10 movies this year. I have to deal with that fact.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. There are also so many little like subtle references and like things that really show just how much people paid attention and cared about the material they were working with. One of my favorite parts of the movie, this is such a minor thing, and it has to do with basically nothing. There's this one part where Miles Morales is looking through his phone contacts, and because he's scrolling down to call his dad. Right above his dad in the contact list is B. Bendis, the creator of Miles Morales Spider-Man. Brian Michael Bendis. I was like,
Brian Michael Bendis, the comic book man?
Yeah, he writes comic books.
He's the one who created Miles Morales. So it's like, it's such a good reference because it's what?
He created Miles Morales?
Yeah, he created Miles Morales.
Yeah, because the
comic book character?
Book character.
There are more people than Brian Michael Bendis who have written comic books. Come on. He's just well known for writing Ultimate Spider-Man, probably the most well-selling run of comics ever.
The joke we're making is that he's also well known for writing Metal Gear Solid Codex-style dialogue.
Okay, well, I didn't get that because I don't know. I think his dialogue's fine. Whatever.
It's not awful. It's just funny.
But yeah, there's just so many like little things that are like obviously people were paying attention and caring about what they were doing. Like they kind of go through all of the different various Spider-Man's origin story, like various origin stories, and kind of like a really like they almost so you know how every Spider-Man movie basically has gone into the origin story, right? Yeah. This is like, it was totally lampshading it, and it's like, we're going to talk about the origin story 8 times. Or however many they did. They did several.
Right. Do they have significantly different origin stories?
Yes and no.
Some of them do?
Some of them are very similar, and others are completely different.
I see.
There's 2 versions of Spider-Man, or like original Spider-Man, Peter Parker. There's the 616 one, kind of, and then there's the Ultimate Spider-Man, kind of. The Ultimate Spider-Man one is the one in the movie that dies at the beginning of the movie.
I'm sorry, the structure of that sentence, the 6161.
Oh, yeah.
was, it threw me off for a second.
No, 6161 is a different...
The 616... The 616
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But also, they like, altered various versions of... So,
right.
For the Ultimate Spider-Man, which is the one that dies in the comics, this is not a huge spoiler. In the comics, he dies, which is why Miles Morales exists, right?
Yeah.
Because Miles Morales was created to replace normal Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They really played up just how fucking good this version of Peter Parker was, and he's like happily married. He has like a bat cave under his house. Like he's except he's the one who who dies. The 616 Spider-Man,
it's like a homeless man.
Kind of. He's divorced from Mary Jane, probably because they didn't want to talk about how he sold his marriage to the devil. But so, like, there's that version. Oh, but the Ultimate Spider-Man is implied heavily to be the Spider-Man from the original trilogy, even to the extent where they have the scene...
The original, like, movie trilogy?
Yes. They have the scene where he is going through New York, like, pointing at people, and then, like, doing the, like, dance thing. You know, awful Peter Parker when he was, like, had Venom.
Does that mean Does that mean the 616 Spider-Man in this movie has like weird type of powers, like spider hooks on his hands and like shoots web from his body instead of, his real powers?
No, that one dies.
Isn't that oh, that's the one
the one that dies. Is that version of Spider-Man, I guess, maybe. Which if you think about it is kind of funny. It's like, in a way they're sort of saying we're killing this version of Spider-Man. But so I don't know, but like he's the Spider-Man that's super happily married, like everything's going great for him except he dies. The version of they bring in like the 616 Spider-Man, which is like 10 years older, and he's like sad and grumpy. And he's the one who actually teaches Miles Morales in most of the movie.
I see.
Yeah.
They have like, this is from the trailer. Spider-Gwen shows up.
Oh, yeah.
When they're doing her origin story, they go, like, all of the background stuff is, like, animated in a style very reminiscent of the watercolor painting covers that she has on her comic book run. It looks fucking amazing. Like, yeah. There's so many,
and of
like,
course,
perfect...
Sony wants to copyright that technique so nobody else can ever use it, and then they'll probably never ever use it again either.
Don't talk about that, because that's so much fucking stupid. That's not even true. Like, that, don't even go there. That is such the most infuriating thing I've ever seen. But whatever.
What?
There's, like, a misinformation about this technique that Sony is copywriting about a way to do there's a technique that is based on how the program works. It's not like nobody can do this ever again. They're patenting the technology for how they did it.
Oh.
It's not the same thing. And people are talking about it like they're hurting creators or something, and it's like, no. All they're doing is patenting the technique.
Their program.
Yes.
Okay.
They're the software they use to do it. That's all they're doing.
It would be it's like Adobe holding a copyright on Flash.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
that's fucking stupid. God damn. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so that that's why
God.
Yeah. That wasn't even worth talking about.
I haven't heard anything about this.
Oh yeah, people have been up in arms. Sony is stifling creativity. This is the reason they don't copyright animation techniques but if they're copywriting a program, that's not even on the same level.
Yeah, like, because you can patent stuff like that, stuff like software and how their software works. But people are allowed to reverse engineer and, like, try to figure out how to do the same thing themselves with different software. Like, that's not illegal.
Right.
It's just them protecting their version of Photoshop, basically. They don't want anyone to take their version of Photoshop and do it the exact same way. That's it.
Right. Photoshop has a lot of copyrighted tools, but GIMP still has all of them.
Yeah, very similar tools that are not exactly the same, right?
Right.
So, but whatever the case, it's
okay. Sorry, I wanted a little more information on that because that was the first thing I heard.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah, so they change up some of the characters and how they sort of work. I don't actually know. I've never heard of Penny Parker, the like anime one. I don't know if she's created for the movie or if she's just kind of obscure. Like, it could be either.
She wasn't created for the movie. I think she was done by the same guy who did Big Hero 6. The comic book writer, yeah.
Well, I don't know, because there's a different Japanese Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she was in American comics. I don't think she was actually a Japanese, like, character.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What kind of villain representation is there?
I know Kingpin's in it.
The main villain is Kingpin.
Okay. That's good.
Who is essentially a black rectangle with legs.
Oh, good.
What?
Perfect.
The way he's drawn is he's like a giant fucking black. He's basically a black rectangle suit with like a tiny head. Tombstone is in it, but they never mention him by name. Scorpion is in it as like a minor bad guy. There is a very interesting version. You know what? I don't even want to spoil it. There is another character in it who's super cool.
Okay.
Mysterio.
A really interesting take on that character that I don't think is from Ultimate Spider-Man, but I don't know.
The Monarch.
The Monarch is no.
The Monarch. Is like one of his I'm not arching Dr. Venture anymore ventures.
This is one of his I can't arch Dr. Venture anymore ventures.
The animation is so good because it's like a really interesting blend of styles and done in a really like convincing way. It doesn't look out of place at any point, even though the characters, like, some of them are animated differently, like obviously differently. The whole thing looks so colorful and interestingly animated that nothing really stands out as being weird looking or out of place. It just fits, even though one of the characters like obviously anime inspired and another one is like Looney Tunes inspired. It like doesn't even seem to conflict that much because of how it's done. There's so much great character development with Miles Morales. Like they really follow his story, like for the most part, and all the rest of them are just kind of there.
So Penny Parker was created for Spiderverse, but she started in a comic titled Edge of the Spiderverse.
Well,
I guess.
Okay. But so is Spider-Gwen.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
Yeah. Actually, maybe Spider-Man Noir also.
I'm sorry, you didn't actually tell us what Penny Parker's powers were, but from what I can gather, should I not spoil it, or like...
I don't think she actually has spider
powers.
Yeah,
from what I can gather, she just pilots a Spider-Man Evangelion.
Yeah.
It's like a mech
she's
that has...
the diva of the Spider-Man universe. No, she's the Hammond of the Spider-Man.
Like, it's straight... I mean, this straight up looks like it was designed after an Eva suit.
She looks more like... I mean, you could say that about Diva too. She looks more inspired by Diva than Evangelion, but that's sort of just abstracted 2 layers over because really, you know, the movie is really great. Like it's really well written. There's so many perfect nods to you know, to really in-depth Spider-Man fans. It's like. It's so surprising that this movie came out in this state, especially when you compare it to something like Venom that came out not that long ago. Like, putting those movies side by side, it's like, how does this, like, perfect distillation of various versions of Spider-Man come together in such a perfect way?
Everything that, like, every fan likes about every Spider-Man.
And then have Venom, which is kind of, like, a fun movie, but, like, not really a very convincing Eddie Brock and not very super convincing version of Venom. Like, I don't know. There was no weird scene where a female Venom kisses Brock. I don't know.
There was no weird scene where a female Spider-Man kisses Spider-Man, which would make sense more than the Venom thing, actually. You know, because Gwen Stacy is that Gwen Spider-Man.
Gwen Stacy kisses Miles Morales in a comic book.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
She does it in the movie, though. So, there's that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are spider kisses.
Oh, good.
There's, like, several different versions of Mary Jane and Peter Parker kissing.
I assume that Penny Parker kisses Spider-Pig on the head?
Spider-Pig in the movie?
I'm not sure. Spider-Pig is in the movie, yes.
Spider-Pig's played by John Mulaney.
He's actually notable because he's pretty notable because even outside of his own versions of whatever, he's used as like Gwen Stacy's conscience when she's in her own books, which is kind of interesting.
Spider-Ham, aka Peter Porker.
Yes.
You know, I feel maybe I'm starting to think I don't want to see this movie.
No,
just because
it's fucking great. It's fucking good.
Yeah. I'm incredibly excited for it.
Not the Simpsons Spider-Pig, but Spider-Ham, who is the real, actual, official Marvel character, who is a pig who is Spider-Man.
Based on the Simpsons Spider-Pig.
Based on the Simpsons Spider-Pig.
So yeah, like. Miles Morales has such great character development. It's almost like a coming-of-age story for him as much as it is like a movie where 6 versions of Spider-Man try to fight Kingpin.
Show up. Yeah.
Also, it's kind of funny. So I've been rewatching Daredevil, and I watched this movie with the person I've been watching Daredevil with, and it's kind of funny because like Vanessa is a plot point in the movie. Vanessa's relationship with Kingpin is an important aspect of the movie. And it's funny because we had been watching Daredevil and they're like, oh, that's that Vanessa. It's the same Vanessa. So that was kind of an interesting kind of side thing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is very good. probably one of my favorite movies this year. It's not as surprising as some of other movies I've seen, just because there are other movies I walked into having no idea what I was walking into, like Upgrade. I still think this year, that's my favorite movie this year. But like as a last minute contender, Spiderverse is just a fucking great movie, and I'm totally gonna buy the Blu-ray when it comes out. So
good.
Really recommend it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to buy the art book too, because like there's so much good art in it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But I feel like I've been burned on art books sometimes, so I'm like hesitant, but I don't know.
Sometimes art books are literally just screenshots from the fucking movie.
Yeah, so I'll have to get like I'll have to check some reviews on those when they come out. Actually, one of the things they said is they wanted every frame of the movie to be like an illustration. And it really does show. There are so many great scenes that you could just take a screenshot and make it into a poster and then just put it on your wall. And it's so good.
Yeah.
I mean, cinematography in it is great.
Yeah.
Although, like, one complaint is the frame rate seems a little low on it. And some of the animation feels jumpy. If that makes sense.
Right. It looked like, from the trailer, it looked sort of like how Gumball does it sometimes with some of the crazier characters. Like some of the CGI characters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you get visible motion blur in the movie when they're sort of like jumping forward. And I don't, like, I would prefer a more smooth animation, but if they're trying to go for, you can take a screenshot of any part of the movie and turn it into an illustration, then I can understand maybe why they made that decision. That being said, like, after the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, you stop noticing, so it's not that big of a deal, but it was a little distracting when I first saw it, so I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it. It was a really great movie. I'm
excited to see it. It's in theaters right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably worth seeing in theaters too, because there's some really cool looking scenes.
I might be able to get somebody to go see it with me.
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else to talk about? Otherwise, we're gonna have a really short show. I could talk about Daredevil a little bit again. But...
Dalsson saw Sorry to Bother You. You could talk about that a little bit.
I did see Sorry to Bother You, and I mean, it's just like Thel said, it's a movie where I don't really want to give spoilers for it. But essentially, this dude gets a job as a telemarketer, and then he does a really good job, so he gets promoted, and turns out that his promotion is like he has to do fucked up things now, and I don't know, it's like you start at minute 1 and everything's normal, and then it gets a little wacky, and then it gets a little wackier, and then he gets his promotion and it gets really wacky, like from like a characterization standpoint. But then like there's this party and it gets really, really fucking nuts.
Yeah.
From like an everything standpoint, just the whole movie goes insane. So it has like this really slow kind of ramp up to just absolute fucking insanity, and you wouldn't expect anything that happens in the movie from the pitch of a guy gets a job at a telemarketer to pay off his uncle's rent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a slow tumble into insanity, and I love it.
It's really good, and it's not like this weird artsy. The whole time I've been putting off watching this because a lot of the movies that Thel wants to show me are like these weird artsy pieces that are like really, really slow moving. And
I mean, a lot of the movies that I show you aren't that. In fact, I keep those ones to myself.
That's true. A lot of the movies that you show, but a lot of the movie, like, I always expect it when you describe it, and especially when you described this one, because the way I described it, I said it's like goes down into insanity. It is not like the man going crazy from his shitty job. It has nothing to do with that. It isn't like a social commentary on a struggling guy trying to get by. It's not that.
Well, it is very much that, though.
It is, but it's like it's not like what you would expect out of. It's not like a social commentary movie. It's like there's that tone to it, but the actual world is actually insane around him. Like everything is fucking nuts around him. It's not like he is getting depressed and hallucinating, or does this really happen? No, everything fucking absolutely happens.
The plot structure is very like it has a very like simple plot structure. It's like you can completely understand what everything is happening. Everything's weird, but it's not exactly like hard to interpret not only what the director was doing or hard to interpret the plot at all. It's like
if on the other hand you were to get up and use the bathroom for 15 minutes and come back, you would say, what in the fuck happened while I was gone? At any point during the movie. There is no point during the movie that you can get up and take a break and still know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because of the way that it ramps up, it's crazy.
But yeah, it's like it was sort of like when I showed Megan fucking Eraserhead, well, her first thought was, I'm not sure that movie actually had a plot. And this movie very much does have a plot. It has like, it goes from point A to point B. Everything makes complete sense. It's just weird as hell.
Right.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really liked it, and I'd say that I don't know if I would say that this is a movie that every single person everywhere should see, but I definitely would recommend it if you just kind of like crazy shit happening. Yeah. And it's also pretty funny. Like the jokes aren't like outright jokes. Like nobody tells a joke in the movie, but everything that's happening is almost a joke. You know,
all of the fight scenes are hilarious. All of the arguments that people have. There's like two big ones in the movie. There's the one where there's this confrontation on the street where they argue like, you're smelling nice. Oh, you're smelling nice too. Yeah. What's that? It smells expensive. Oh, it's not. It's just regular deodorant. Oh, we should get drinks. Yeah, we should get drinks. I'll buy. No, I'll buy. We should get 2 drinks. 3 drinks. 4 drinks. All right, break it up.
And they're like fighting. They're like acting like they're fighting, getting all close to each other, and then they're just like, "Wow, you smell nice. Yeah. Hey, you want to go out for drinks? That's pretty fun."
And then like his fight with his girlfriend, which was like, "You don't need all these covers. Give me those covers. It's not necessary. You don't need." And it's wonderful, wonderful movie. Very good. Love.
It's pretty good. I liked it a lot. I shouldn't have put off watching it for so long, really.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, and that's all we have to say about that bitch.
Yep. I could talk a little bit about Path of Exile Betrayal, and you've actually gotten to do some of the Betrayal content as well.
Yeah.
So, why don't we do that maybe real quick? So, Path of Exile Betrayal, real quick, just because Thel's actually gotten to experience some of the content as well, and I've gotten significantly farther in the league.
All right.
So I have gotten significantly farther into like maps and stuff, and I have to say that I think that the content that they added in Betrayal League specifically is like vastly overtuned. I think that there is way too much going on the screen. I think that there is not significant enough like tells for mechanics that are supposed to one-shot you. And I think that generally everything in the Betrayal encounters deal too much damage. Like I can walk up to a map boss and kill it in like less than a second, and then I will walk up to a Betrayal encounter and be sitting there in an epic battle for like 30 seconds before I then get one shot by something I couldn't see because there's green smoke everywhere. It's not frustrating to me because I'm on Standard Core League. I don't really give a shit when I die, and the Betrayal rewards are very rewarding.
Yeah.
But and somebody in our chat says basically the same thing I'm about to say. They're putting out a patch tomorrow, toning it down in like every aspect. Everything deals less damage. They have less health. They reduce the visual clutter, less cluttery mobs spawn for them. So even Grinding Your Games agrees that it's pretty overtuned. it looks like. Now, I also got a chance to play with the new brand skills. Man, you want to talk about overtuned. I think brand skills are overtuned. I have, like, the shittiest setup on this character. I'm pretty sure I'm at Act 5 and I don't even have a second ring equipped. And I don't think I have encountered a mob that I cannot one-shot with Armageddon brand. It's just I think it's too good. I'm expecting nerfs, but I'm going to milk it all I can while I have the chance.
I feel almost a similar way about the dudes. I haven't gotten to mapping level with this yet, but it's really fun to be running around a place and just like murdering the shit out of all of like the axe bosses and not giving a crap about anything. Then suddenly Haku just teleports behind you like, how's your build really going though?
Tell him wanna, bitch.
And he just like destroys the shit out of you, killing you instantly, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, see, like I think that
several
the
like it's almost like he comes out of like several levels above you, and it's like, you think you can take me? You can't, but you can try.
Yeah, so like I do think the league content is overtuned, and I'm excited for it to be toned back a little bit, but I hope that they keep some of the difficulty in it. Like, I don't know, like maybe make the one-shot tells a little better. I'm not sure about reducing the damage because I tend to either get one shot or stay fine, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of refreshing for Path of Exile to be challenging again because I breeze through everything. So because I've made hundreds of characters, I just kind of breeze through everything. You know, I know exactly what I'm doing and where I'm going. So the betrayal content is nice for somebody to just step out and say, "Hey, bitch," and then kill you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel that the real reason it's overtuned, or that it feels overtuned, is because when you actually get into their safe houses, like their boss encounters on your terms, you're invading them. They're easy. They're piss easy. They're overtuned for the encounters that you see in the world, but they're still not difficult when you've like completed the league mechanic, go to raid a safe house and kill all of them. You can just kill them. There's no difficulty involved in that.
Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, that's about it though.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they brought the previous leagues into the game. I'm really liking Delve. That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
You honestly should have played more of it. It was really fun in the league.
Oh, yeah. I like it in normal too, because I just hop on my main, do a couple maps, hang out with Nico, and then do some Delve. It's like another late game thing to do.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what's really good about this quote unquote expansion, is that they've added a lot of stuff to like actually do in late game other than just map endlessly and one league mechanic.
Well, and you do the shaper stuff with the maps.
That's mapping though.
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah,
tied intrinsically to mapping, so it kind of interrupts the flow of gameplay, so that once you get to maps, you don't feel like you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You're like, oh, today I'm doing a bunch of incursions, and now I'm going to raid a Vault Temple, or I'm looking for Nico so that I can do more delving.
Yeah, it's like you're in still one of the things about Maple Story, right? Was there was just like a lot of bullshit that just sort of happened on the side. Like just suddenly like a mini game would come up, and it's a lot like that. It's like, oh, so I just finished this map, but I found a bunch of fucking sulfide, so I'm gonna go do the mines. It's stuff to do, and it's great, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, it breaks up the monotony of end game really nicely. Yeah. And people have been saying that about the past leagues, but now that there's like 3 different things to do, you're probably not going to get bored with any of them.
Yeah,
very quickly anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my final thoughts on Path of Exile right now.
One thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about Spider-Man, I know this was forever ago now, but it has one of the best after credit scenes I've ever seen. So if you do see it in theaters, make sure you wait for it because it's worth it.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
Why don't we look into taking a break for a few minutes? How are you guys feeling? You want like a 5-minute break or?
could do 5 minutes. 5 minutes is fine with me.
Yeah, I don't mind. 5 minutes is fine.
So 6:10 or 5:10 then?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back in a little bit. All right, we're back.
Welcome.
So we forgot to talk about Super Smash Brothers, so we're gonna do that now. And then after that, we'll talk about news.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We have so much news. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to cut some of the news, I guess. So much of it that there's no way we could talk about. Go ahead, guys.
Super Smash Brothers. It's still really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. So I was playing World of Light.
It's actually good as hell.
And the World of Light map is really good, but man, I played this area that was basically Street Fighter 2. And it's so fucking cool.
Isn't there like a beat up the car mini game too?
I wish. I don't not in that section, but I would not be surprised if that's somewhere.
That would have been so easy. They could have like just like done the sandbag mode from Melee. Like,
maybe,
you know, hit the sandbag as far as you can.
Yeah, or I don't know. Put a car. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, like it the way that the map is set up is it shows a whole world, like a whole world map, and then you ride a plane from like city to city. And so like, okay, we go to Brazil and fight Blanca, who is like a Donkey Kong who does electric damage all the time for some reason.
The
and then
Street Fighter area, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and then like once you
feed the Pikachu into a Donkey Kong, we didn't think of what it would cause.
And then once you fight all of the like standard fighter characters, they have you do Balrog, Vega, Sagat, and then Bison before being able to finally unlock Ryu.
Wow.
That's
pretty good.
So that was like, that mode just continues to surprise me. I love it. Like that World of Light mode. I was going to buy the Nintendo Online, but I ended up just deciding to wait until I can probably finish the World of Light mode, because at this point, when I want to play Super Smash Bros., that's like what I'm thinking of when I want to play it now.
The World of Light?
Yeah. At least
I've been really slacking on World of Light. I've been playing online a lot, and I gotta say, the matchmaking and online infrastructure is miles fucking better than Smash 4. Miles.
Is it? Because I was hearing some complaints about it even still.
Yeah, I was too.
Okay, when you were playing with 4 people, the lag can start to get really bad. If you are playing with 4 people on a map that changes, so like that Fire Emblem stage that changes around all over the place, that's a really bad map for online, because whenever it changes, it pretty much lags out like frame by frame for a good 30 seconds.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, but only if you're playing with 4 people. When you're playing with 2 people on a strict peer-to-peer connection, it seems fine. I haven't had any issues with it.
Even on map changing levels?
Yeah, even on map changing levels.
Does it affect map transformations? Like, you know how you can set one map to turn into another map? Does it lag on that too?
I assume it does, but I haven't really tried that, so.
Okay, well. Yeah, so I'm just like continuing to go and unlock people through that mode. I unlocked it's kind of funny though, because I unlock characters and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done playing World of Light, so I like close out of that menu and it's like, oh shit, that's right. Now it's gonna make me challenge someone.
Yeah. Yeah, it does that.
Then I had to fight King K. Rool.
Mm-hmm.
Except it was on that shitty Donkey Kong level that I hate with the water over it.
I hate that one.
Yeah, and then I almost killed him. He was like, I had barely any damage on me, and he was like getting up there. And then I fell in the water and died. So,
you know what's weird is I think a lot of the CPUs have this weird like balance mechanic where like if they're kicking your ass, they'll start just doing worse and doing dumb shit. But if you're beating their ass too hard, they'll just become fucking gods who read your inputs.
You know, that's weird because I feel like, at least in the world of World of Light mode, I feel like the more you fight them, the better they get at predicting what you're gonna do.
Yeah. That might be what's going on. Like, I feel like people. So that what I just said is what people have been saying, but that could very well be what's going on. Like the CPUs just kind of learn your strategy the longer you play against them.
Yeah. Because I noticed, like, when I first turn on the game, like, that's when I have the easiest time, even on stuff that was giving me trouble before.
Right.
But but I don't know, it's weird, because, like, then I'll get into fucking boxing matches with Ryu for 2 hours. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I've had straight up, like, World of Light CPUs straight up, like, tech off of walls and shit, and I'm like, what? How fucking strong are these CPUs supposed to be? Because I know human players who can't do that consistently.
Dude, some of the shit that they do is so annoying. Like, I was complaining about this last time, but I swear they read the input for counters and stop when anyone else would attack you.
Oh, I'm sure they do. You have to counter them in the middle of an animation.
Yeah, whereas they have to already be attacking.
Yeah, like CPUs, you have to counter their animations, whereas with human players, like, no human will have as good of a reaction time if you start countering them while they're, like... When you're fighting a human, you have to read what they're thinking, and when you're fighting a CPU, you have to read the actual game. So it's significantly different. But I feel like reading the actual game, like, over time makes you better than reading what people are thinking, because people are so different, whereas the game stays the same.
Yeah, but there's certain things, like, in a map where there's 4 Yoshis kicking your ass all at once, like, it would make sense that if they're all murder balling on you, then one of them is going to accidentally attack you. But when you use a counter when all 4 of them are, like, standing around you, they'll just stop and stand there.
Yeah. And
it's like, it's kind of frustrating when that happens, when it's like there's all 4 of them are just standing next to you waiting for your animation to stop. Or timing it so that they grab you when you're vulnerable, like immediately after your counter wears off. Like, I had a moment where I countered in midair while landing, and as soon, like, the second the animation was done, I got like Shoryukened into the air using, like, his ultimate that he had waited until the second my counter animation was done to do it. So, like, I don't know, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
Also, I beat like four maps on that Street Fighter thing because characters decided to try to attack me by jumping off the cliff and dying. So maybe the CPUs aren't always that smart.
Yeah, they're not always great. I think that the power level that they're set at also has to do with how good their AI is, not just how much
I don't think it's the power level. I think it's the stars that they show at the top of the screen.
Oh yeah,
on their card.
Could be it.
Some of them are like 1 and those are easy, but ones that are like 4 are smarter, but I don't know.
I've been playing online a lot, and okay, so before I actually go into my real thoughts, I want to sum up my thoughts in one sweeping statement. I have hated Isabelle since Animal Crossing Wild World, and I still hate Isabelle. She's the worst. She's a fucking bitch. I hate her. I can't stand Isabelle. Never been able to stand Isabelle.
Did you see the bug with Isabelle where you can summon infinite Knuckles?
What?
Yeah, she has some sort of bug that lets her just infinitely summon allies. Or assist trophies or whatever. So there's this GIF floating around where there's just like hundreds of Knuckles on the screen. So it's Isabelle and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Chuckle. I'd rather flex my knuckles.
Apparently, so like, I assume that has something to do with her little item grab where you can save an item for later. Apparently, if you
Here, I'm gonna put it up on the thing.
Okay, sounds good. If you do this between 2 Isabels and 2 villagers, it doesn't do anything. But if you do it between 1 Isabel and 1 villager, where you throw an item back and forth and keep catching, like a projectile back and forth and keep catching, Jesus Christ, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. If you throw if you like take a projectile and throw it back and forth between Isabel and villager, it will just crash the game every time. Doesn't happen if you throw it back and forth between villager and villager, and nothing with Isabel and Isabel, but between the 2 characters, you can crash the game consistently.
That's weird.
For everybody in the match, if you're playing with 4 people.
Now, it's by really crash strange. The game, does it like
it kicks you back to the home menu. It says there was an error with the game, please restart, and it kicks you back to the home menu.
Okay. That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty strange.
I'm sure that'll be patched out though. Because if you're finding a bug that you're able to reproduce that consistently, I'm sure it'll go away.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so yeah, that game just continues to be fun. I'm still playing it, enjoying it. So
okay,
yeah,
I highly recommend it. It's probably the best Super Smash Brothers.
So I know who you have been playing for World of Light, but so far, who do you think your favorite character to play is?
Favorite or who I'm best at?
Well, who is your favorite character, like from a gameplay standpoint, not from like, I like this character from their IP.
So I've been playing a lot of Sheik, but I have problems with some of her abilities. Like, I don't really find certain abilities that she has very effective. And recently I unlocked Link, which feels like a slower but more powerful Sheik a little bit.
Link is apparently top tier because of his bomb change. You can detonate it. Yeah, you can detonate his bombs remotely, so you get into those like zone control games that Duck Hunt and people like that can do.
I heard
instead of it just being a timer.
Yeah, he's also. I think you can recover in the air with bombs too a little bit.
Oh yeah,
not like Snake who can infinitely recover, but
Jesus.
Yeah, I watched a video about everyone's ability to recover, and Snake can do this grenade into aerial thing over and over again forever.
That's pretty funny.
So he can infinite combo recovery. So I don't know if they're going to change that, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Link feels really good. I feel like he does so much damage on his smash attacks, and he's so versatile with how his sword plays.
Yeah.
So I can see him being top tier because I've been playing him and he feels very good.
He also reflects projectiles when you're walking, which is something they added in Smash 4 that I think people still don't know about.
Wait, what?
If you are walking instead of dashing and somebody shoots a projectile at you, he'll reflect it with his mirror shield.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Do you have to be walking or can you just stand there?
You have to be walking. You can't just stand there. Well, you have to be facing it. So you can stand it, but if you're facing.
Now, do you block or do you just walk?
No, you don't block. He just does it passively.
That's weird.
Yeah. The thing is, like, not many people know about it because a lot of mid-tier Smash players are only dashing all the time.
Yeah.
Me too. But yeah. But he can reflect projectiles, which is pretty fucking good.
I've been practicing that thing where you're like dashing and then you like down. You push down on the stick to stop your dash, so it lets you move from dashing to neutral combo smash pretty easily.
Yeah.
That being said, I kind of like the dash attacks. They're pretty easy to combo into, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Now, I'm probably best with, like, Link / Sheik. But I actually really, really enjoy playing Lucario. Like, a lot more than I thought I would. When I first unlocked him, I was like, okay, I'll try on Lucario just because he's sort of cool and interesting and different. And he was, like, one of the first characters that I unlocked in World of Light that I hadn't played in other Super Smash Brothers games.
Right.
Because he was added in Brawl, I think. So I had never played him before. And I actually really enjoy his moveset. I like being able to. I like his counter. I like being able to do that damage thing that grabs if you're close enough. Like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty good with him. I don't know if I don't. It's hard to say who I'm best at because I feel like I'm best with either Sheik or Lucario, but they kind of play differently to some extent. And then I think I'm good at Link, but I don't know.
See, my favorite character to play is Bayonetta. She has been since she came out in Smash 4. I love the way she plays. I love how it feels exactly like playing the Bayonetta video game, right? But I'm not the best with her. I think my best character is probably Samus,
right?
Whom I also don't play much in this. I'm getting really good at Inkling. I did not expect to like Inkling. I didn't even expect to play Inkling, but I just picked up Inkling for like a classic mode run, and I was like, "Wow, this is really fun!" And I've been kicking ass online too.
I want to get Lucina, because I sort of like Marth, but I like Lucina as a character better.
Right. And Lucina has funny. Less
It's kind of funny playing World of Light and being able to recognize all these Fire Emblem characters that I wouldn't have had I not played Fire Emblem Heroes is really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody knew who fucking Roy was when Melee came out. They were like, who's this asshole? Because he hadn't had a Fire Emblem game in America.
I thought he was in Awakening.
Not when Melee came out, he wasn't.
Awakening came out after Melee?
Oh, Fire Emblem Awakening was
It's Game Boy Advance.
Not a game.
Wasn't it Game Boy Advance?
I don't think so.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, all I know was that he was only in a Fire Emblem game released in Japan when came out. No, Fire Emblem Awakening is a 3DS game, dude.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, also, he's not from Awakening.
Yeah, he's not from Awakening either.
That's the one Chrom is from.
He's like from Fire Emblem 2 or something. Yeah, there's like a million Fire Emblem characters in Smash still, and they just like, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. Also, hypothetically, if this is the last Smash game, Incineroar is the last Pokemon representative, right? So like, what are they gonna do when Gen 8 comes out?
I don't know. Roy was in Blinding Blade, which was in on Game Boy Advance in 2002 in Japan.
Right.
But okay. I don't know if that one's made it to America or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it didn't. Or I don't know if it has now, but it hadn't at the time.
I'd rather play as Red Marth anyway.
I like Roy.
Yeah, Red Marth. Exactly.
Red Marth, yeah.
But yeah, so how is Lucina different again? You started to say, but
the main difference between Lucina and Marth is Marth has to hit with the tip of his sword to deal optimal damage. Roy has to hit with the middle of it, and Lucina doesn't have an optimal damage zone. Her sword deals regular damage like across the entire blade.
That's nice. So she's easier, Marth.
Sort of, but Marth will deal more damage if you're hitting with the tip than her hitting anywhere, so...
Yeah, but you'll probably do more consistent damage with Lucina.
Exactly, yeah.
Why don't we move on to news?
Sure.
Oh boy.
Sounds good, all two of them.
Let's start with movie news.
Okie dokie. Yeah, I'll fucking dead-ass 2 movie newses that happened this week. What the fuck we got here? So, what was really funny... and really fun, the things that sort of came out of this week is we're sort of gearing up for Oscar time. It's the end of the year. It's getting around that time. We got a couple months until the Oscars come around. And one of the things that happened is that Solo is not going to be able to get its music put in the category for Best Original Score because someone didn't fucking send it to the goddamn Oscars. Some dumbass fucked up and didn't send that shit in.
Oh God,
that is the reason.
I never was excited for the Oscars until we like kind of started this thing, and now I find myself always excited for the Oscars because I can't wait to see what stupid shit they fuck up next.
I don't think there will ever be a bigger fuck up than that one guy announcing that La La Land won
That
when
was so
fucking Moonlight.
bad.
That was the fuck. Yeah, that was goddamn crazy.
That was so bad.
Shit. Jesus Christ. But on that same note,
did they ever
Mandy,
find a new host?
What?
Did they ever find a new host for the Oscars?
I think they're just gonna go with a like sort of Saturday Night Live skit deal.
Okay.
Essentially, no more news has come out of that.
It probably works. Like... It probably works better than just having one host anyway.
Yeah, definitely. So, on the side of that, Solo is not going to be nominated for Best Score. A film that might actually have won, Mandy, is not also going to be nominated for Best Score. There was a specific rule set that it has to follow. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, here they are. It needs to be shown for a qualifying run of at least 7 consecutive days, during which period screenings must occur at least 3 times daily, and at least one screening beginning between 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. daily at the LA County Theater. Now, this movie unfortunately fucked up in one aspect. It didn't screen 3 times daily. It only screened twice daily. So it's not allowed to be in the Oscars.
So they just made up a bunch of rules and regulations today so that they could.
The thing is, it's worse than that. These are the rules and regulations that have been there forever, because essentially these are rules and regulations based on the idea that not everyone is able to see every movie because home video does not exist. VHSs have not been invented, and you cannot show a movie on television without watching it on a TV station. It is far past that time nowadays, but many of the Oscar people are very, very, very old and only moved to watching movies on DVDs like 5 years ago. That they still dead ass, all screeners have to be in DVD format.
Yeah, the screeners go out all over the place. Like how is that even a technicality rule? That's dumb. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it probably shouldn't be ineligible because they should have followed the rules.
Oh, like,
yeah. Like if they wanted to change the rules, change them before you fuck up. But
yeah, well, the problem wasn't exactly like that they what was it? It was sort of like that they couldn't screen it at that time because it was also available for streaming the exact same time that it went out for like in theaters. And it's like the only movie to be able to do that successfully. It made a lot of money in theaters.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah. It's more Oscars of silly stuff. The next one is... Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. That was something that happened a couple of weeks ago. Dalsson put in another news story that I completely forgot about that's coming soon. That I don't think that we actually did talk about. I think me and Dalsson talked about it like privately, but not on the podcast. The next thing though that isn't that is a movie came out this week. Peter Jackson's Mortal Engines. You probably didn't hear about it or see it because nobody did. It flopped really bad. And I say Peter Jackson's Mortal Engines because it's constantly referenced as a Peter Jackson's movie, even though he didn't actually direct it at all in any way, shape, or form. He produced it and gave it money, and it lost a lot of money.
So here's the thing. I would have seen Moral Engines had it not been on the same week as Spider-Man.
Fair enough.
So I don't, like, because I actually did see the trailer for that, and I was like, oh, that looks weird as hell, but I'll give it a shot, but not this week, because I'm busy watching Spider-Man. So I'm interested to see if this has a better box office next week, or if it actually just had no marketing. Like, I don't actually know.
Yeah. And I only heard about it like the week before it came out.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the trailers kind of came out for it super late, so I don't know what's going on with that. But
yeah, and another like sort of weird thing for it. It's constantly billed on the fact that it's a Peter Jackson movie, but it's like this man is producing this movie. He gave it money so that the guy who worked on like some art direction stuff for his previous movies could direct it. And this is that man's directorial debut, unfortunately. He's not getting another job. So yeah.
Oh, apparently it's based on a book that's not widely known in the US, and that's kind of why.
Really? I knew it was based on a book because I'd heard of Mortal Engines before. I was like, wow, they're actually making a movie out of that? That's surprising.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers and Fox both passed on the project, but Universal picked it up. Oops.
Yeah. Oops.
But, you know, to be fair, it is a really tough time to release, because Clint Eastwood came out with that one movie.
Yeah, apparently Clint Eastwood's best movie in fucking years, since, like, Gran Torino or some shit. Like,
yeah, so there's that movie, there's Spider-Man, there's, like, leftovers from The Grinch, which now would be the time to, like, people are watching it. So I don't know, like... Yeah. I guess we'll see if it picks up later, but, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how it is next week, probably, maybe, and unless something else is coming out, I'm not sure.
Unless something else comes out, or it's just pulled from theaters entirely. This movie never happened.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be. I think it'll probably, like, stay in, like, at least another week or two.
It should last a month.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Next thing. Next month, series of unfortunate events. The Netflix series is coming to an end. Me and Dalsson have been watching the show, and we think it's pretty good. We're happy with how it's been turning out.
Fantastic. I think it's one of the best things on Netflix. It's like up there with Stranger Things and BoJack Horseman for me. I adore it.
Yeah,
but you were a big fan of the book, though.
It's true, but like this show just elevates those books to the next level. Like the way that they follow everything almost so perfectly, but restructure everything that happens is really, really interesting and like a refreshing take on it. Without like killing it.
Yeah. What I'm really happy for is that the guy the showrunner, whose name I cannot remember for the life of me, but he's one of the first like directors I started noticing as like a child, who directed the Addams Family movies and Men in Black, and I'm glad that he's getting back to his fucking roots rather than like his last directorial film, which was Kevin Spacey in 9 Lives, the movie where he turns into a cat. But yeah, anyway, this is really good. Barry Sonnenfeld, that's what his name was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The man who makes the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why it's so similar to the Addams Family movies and in tone and aesthetic and everything.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Barry Sonnenfeld. He's like a better Tim Burton.
Here's something that the article mentions that I'm excited about, right? So the ending of the book, it like the story ended, but it left like pretty much every single unanswered question unanswered, and then also made more questions at the end. And then it's been sitting like that for 20 years, right? So at the end of this trailer, Lemony Snicket introduces himself to the orphans, which never happens in the books, which is something that, you know, that's a long takeaway from the book, and it could be, you know, like answers about what was happening in the book. And I know that the author did work as a very close consultant on this series too, so it might be exciting to maybe like get some questions or get some of those questions answered that were like the Sugar Bowl thing that they build up over the entire course of the books is never explained what happens there. And we've already in the last couple of seasons gotten a little tidbits of the Sugar Bowl incident. So there might be more to the books that everybody read 15, 20 years ago that's answered in this series, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is just one of those ones where it's hard to know how much people who aren't fans of the books will like it. I feel the same way about Harry Potter to some extent.
Right.
I feel like these are very, very well structured and interesting, even like outside of being like directly connected to the books.
Have you? And you've never read the books, right? Though.
I read like it's like the first half of them, and then at some point I was like, "Wow, these are all the same. I'm going to stop."
Yeah. Whereas this one, like this series, it has a lot of like good stuff. I don't know, like Neil Patrick Harris being Count Olaf, the main villain, for example. He is fantastic in that role. He makes me like Count Olaf more than like half of the characters in the show. And
yeah, all of the casting in the show is incredible.
Yeah, and Patrick Warburton as Lemony Snicket because he's the narrator.
Yeah. Legitimately, the show is very, very good at like what it is essentially out to do. It sets up the very like sort of grim aesthetic of it. It sets up the fun characters. It does all of that really, really well. It's just Barry Sonnenfeld back to his shit. I'm happy about that. I'm so happy.
Well,
people out here talking up.
So they're doing the last
fucking master of creepy.
The last season is going to be the last 4 books, which wraps up the series because the books are over. So,
spoilers: the books do not have a happy ending. You know that thing he tells you at the beginning of every single book? It's not a happy ending. He's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Gaming news.
All right.
Talk about Kingdom Hearts.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh no.
So
Kingdom Hearts 3 got a leak. There was some sort of leak. I think the game, like a retail copy, got released early or something, like more than a month early.
Yeah, I think it was a review copy.
I saw retail, but I'm not sure. But in any case, so the creator of the game is pleading with the director of the game is pleading with the community not to spoil the game, and even said just mute the words Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, that's a pretty bold statement on your social media, saying just mute all of our marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that I posted this article is because I think they're doing something interesting to avoid spoilers. Because of this leak, they have removed the ending and the prologue from the game and intend to patch it back in when it releases.
Oh, I
don't think that they did
That's
it
weird.
because of the leak. They had it. They was already going to be that.
Maybe to take the idea of leaking it away from review copies or something. But anyway, yeah, the ending is not actually in the game currently because it's not out yet.
But a review copy, you can't review the game by most magazines or most sites like criteria without actually beating it. So that just means that nobody can actually finish the review. So if it's that like that for all review copies in addition to any like leaked copies, then that's might be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. It's just the epilogue and the secret ending, I guess. So.
Oh, well, okay.
So it's not like.
So it's probably not the ending that you can get easily anyway.
It's not like the last half of the game. It's like the final sequence of the game, like the very last thing, probably like the 100% completion or something.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any news about embargoes on this game either, so who knows. But Square Enix does weird shit in general.
Yeah,
when it comes to stuff like that, so who knows.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Okay.
I'm just gonna title this revenue split. This is kind of like ongoing from this sort. I don't know if I call it a feud between Steam and Epic Games Launcher, and now Discord is announcing that they're changing their revenue split from, I believe it was the usual 70-30 before, but now they're changing it to 90-10, which means developers on Discord's platform will get 90% of the revenue instead of 10. Or instead of 70 or whatever. So they're getting 20% more by playing games on Discord. So I guess if that's something you care about and you want to support the developers as much as humanly possible, then maybe Discord. Honestly, I think this is good for Discord because this feels like the thing that Discord can bank on more so than Epic. Like, I don't think people don't really want to go out of their way to have another store that they like interact with, and Discord is already on a lot of people's computers. And like, initially, so having a game plugin like is easier for Discord users initially anyway. And then if what it's about for that individual is a better revenue split, I think Discord gets a better deal on this than Epic would.
I'm pretty sure though, like, it's funny that this is happening kind of like, suddenly, people talking about revenue split after the Epic Games launcher came out, because Humble has always had the option to give 100% to the developers and not tip them at all.
That's kind of a weird thing though, because, well, that's not entirely true. Not their store. Their store has an automatic split. For bundles, you can give it all to the developers, but and then also there's like the charity aspect, so you can split it between the developers and charity. So you might not want to give it all to developers if you want to support the charity. So it's a little bit. Right. I think Humble's kind of a weird anomaly on there, but I think for most things, like you're probably thinking of like an actual store client in a way that Humble kind of isn't. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. I think this strategy of offering a better split to developers probably helps Discord more than it does Epic. But it's kind of funny that you know, Valve has famously stated about other stuff like VR that they're not interested in races to the bottom. And this certainly looks like a race to the bottom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That being said, Discord's main business is voice chat, and Steam's main business is like the whole ecosystem. It's not just about the store for them. So like, I think probably the person in the group in the worst position is still Epic, because not only is it difficult to convince people to move into another gaming platform, if the platform isn't as robust as Steam in the first place, people are just going to be upset that the games that are exclusive to Epic aren't also on Steam, which has already happened. There's already people complaining, saying that Epic Games is holding games hostage and stuff like hyperbole like that. But like, I can totally understand why people would feel that way. Epic, not only does it not have the tools that Steam has, there's specific things that they said they'll never add, or well, maybe not. Like, I don't want to misquote, but I've seen but I've definitely seen them straight out say that they're not going to do certain things, and other things will come. Like, I think they said they're going to do achievements eventually, but even now it's like the store is not as robust as Steam, and trying to convince people to change to a platform that's less robust is difficult. And if their main selling point was this revenue split with developers, then Discord is now undercutting them. So
and so Discord is better because people already have it.
Right, they use it for something else. Discord is not mainly a game platform. They're something else first, and the same with, or not the same with Steam, but Steam has so much more to it than just the store at this point that like, it's understandable why Steam has a huge, or takes a large cut. It's because they give every game a forum. That's something specifically that Epic said they wouldn't do. You know, they have a lot of features. Chat, voice chat,
has a lot of, even though people don't really use it that much anymore for like chatting and voice chatting, they still have a huge social aspect to Steam. Like, the community is a really big part of Steam, so that's
I don't think we use it. I don't think we use it, but I definitely think that people do use it. I know people who look at Steam as their main social media platform, as weird as that sounds. So I don't know. And Thel and I, one of the main ways we met and got to know each other was through a Steam group. So
yeah, I remember that. So yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know. But like Discord is the same way. I've met people through Discord that I never would have known otherwise. So it's kind of in the sort of same sphere as that. Like people use it for something else. The store is just kind of a bonus. So
right.
I think this puts Discord in a very interesting place, and I'm definitely more likely to purchase games through Discord now than I was before, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I am one of those people who do care about supporting developers, so
I also like to get all of these free games with my Discord Nitro subscription. That's like a really cool thing that Discord's doing, and
yeah,
it doesn't just give you fucking games. It also gives you like features like animated icons and emote sharing. So it's lots of value in the Discord stuff.
Yeah. Why don't we move on?
Sure.
Minor update on Stardew Valley.
Oh.
So, a little while ago, we got news saying that Concerned Ape was going to focus on self-publishing now. He had been working on another game, like kind of set in the same universe, but we don't really know anything else about it. But he's kind of said that he sort of put that on the back burner because he keeps just thinking of new content updates for Stardew Valley. So what's kind of happening is he's working on more features for Stardew Valley, and so his other game is kind of like a secret project on like in his back pocket, but it's not what he's mainly working on right now.
He's mostly concerned with Stardew Valley content.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I mean, Stardew Valley's a fucking hit. You know, everybody loves Stardew Valley.
Well, he kind of said that like he'll just lay awake at night and think of a new interesting thing to add to the game, and then he'll like go start doing it like this. So he's just kind of still obsessed with that game in kind of a neat way. So
yeah,
but you know the game's always been sort of a passion project for him. He created it because there wasn't an alternative Harvest Moon on PC, like an indie version of Harvest Moon. So that was his whole like plan in the first place.
Right.
All right. Remember that ZeniMax Facebook lawsuit?
Yes.
No.
Really?
No.
You don't remember that lawsuit between ZeniMax and Facebook over Oculus Rift and how man, there were like so many good quotes from like Doom guy. What's his name? Carmack. Yeah. There was like quotes
about the actual Doom guy. I was like, what?
Guy. No, like there's like quotes from Carmack saying stuff like these people are idiots and like you guys don't know what you're talking about and just stuff like that. Because okay, so to recap, ZeniMax basically said that Carmack, while working at ZeniMax, was working on stuff that he later stole from their company and took to Oculus. Technology related to VR.
I see.
But there was kind of like disagreement over like what belonged to Carmack and what belonged to ZeniMax and what was actually taken, and so it was kind of
what the fuck was going on. Yeah,
and so this has been a thing that's been like ongoing for the last 5 years. At one point, ZeniMax tried to stop like sales of the Oculus Rift because they were basically suggesting that it's stolen technology that belongs to them. This is also after Carmack basically said that like ZeniMax, or he offered ZeniMax working on VR himself at ZeniMax, but ZeniMax said no, so he like left because he wanted to work on VR. Because he was an early supporter of it. He created or he made pretty early on Doom 3 work on the Oculus Rift, like kind of as a proof of concept sort of thing. In 2017, ZeniMax won $500 million for copyright and trademark infringements. But the jury didn't find Oculus guilty of misappropriating trade secrets. Later on, in a federal district court, a judge reduced the award to $250 million. And then after that, there was a lot of potential for appealing that, but it looks like the two companies out of court settled for a amount that's likely smaller than $250 million. But they're not saying how much, and both saying are like, we're all satisfied with the outcome, and we're very happy, and there's no bad blood between Oculus, and so there's shit like that coming out of it. So, yeah, I guess ZeniMax won some money.
Yeah, I guess.
This is kind of important, though, because...
You know how hard ZeniMax is struggling. It's just my heart goes out to all of those poor underpaid ZeniMax CEOs who really needed this money.
Hey man, their legal team needs to get paid too, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this
76 ain't paying the fucking bills.
So this is something that like they was always kind of like a specter in the dark about Oculus and stuff. It kind of went away. Like, part of the reason why they were saying those trade secrets were so valuable was just the amount of money that Facebook bought Oculus for. But like, ultimately, it is what it is. It seems fine. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Now people don't have to worry about Oculus being like bad for business or whatever on Facebook's account. Although Facebook's doing stupid shit with Oculus anyway, but whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of stupid shit that companies are doing...
Oh boy, this one's exciting.
You know Razer?
Ew.
So, Razer wants people to mine cryptocurrency with a program they've created called Razer Soft Miner. You might think that, Razer's starting their own cryptocurrency coin. No. What they're doing is they're offering people like silver points or whatever, which is
Razer Fun Dollars.
Yeah, which is Razer Fun Dollars. I was getting to that, which can be exchanged for select rewards. But someone on Twitter pointed out that the most expensive reward is the Huntsman Elite Keyboard, which costs 280,000 silver and normally retails for $200. Earning it through SoftMiner at a rate of 500 silver per day would take approximately 560 days. That's more than a year and a half of running your PC nonstop for $200 in value. Also, I'm pretty sure the silver expires after a year or something, so you can't even do it, actually.
You can't actually get anything because if you were running it...
according to people on Twitter and this Destructoid article. But, I don't know, like, this is just... Man, what the fuck, Razer?
Razer wants you to mine cryptocurrency for them.
Yeah.
Which is the weirdest shit.
No, it's not. Man. All they want to do is create a botnet to mine bitcoins for them.
I mean, yes, but here's the thing. Everyone else who does that, and there are a lot of motherfuckers who do that, they gotta keep it quiet. These motherfuckers are out here actively like, hey,
I mean,
mine Bitcoin for
They're not lying. They're not tricking people. They're not like... I mean, they're not like putting the soft miner into a utility on your mouse software.
Yeah. I mean,
But like, shit, man. What the fuck? I can't believe this. This is so stupid.
It's just like this is like the weirdest shit. Just coming out straight up, having a program saying, "Hey, you want to mine Bitcoin for us? Give you a mouse. Mine Bitcoin for us. We'll get you a fucking mouse."
After like a year, if you keep doing it forever.
Yeah. So I don't know. Also, the cryptocurrency market is still crashing a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like a very good time to do this because it's just going to get you a lot of bad rep, and cryptocurrency keeps going down currently, so...
Yeah.
I'm so baffled by like this idea. Like, why would you mine cryptocurrency to like not have the cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Why would you mine cryptocurrency for Razer?
It would be likely that with your equipment that you are mining cryptocurrency for Razer with, you could mine cryptocurrency fast enough that you would just buy their products faster.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Well, yeah. Although it is difficult to mine cryptocurrency at this point with a standard PC anymore.
Oh yeah.
But you can you can also join like a pool, like basically a botnet where you get a split of what the Bitcoin is worth at the end. Yeah. So like I don't know. This is just stupid. Like Razer is what is Razer fucking thinking, man?
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Also, I think most people mine altcoins and then convert it. So Ethereum, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Very strange.
Yep.
I think cryptocurrency in general is stupid. But...
I don't think it's stupid, but I do think it's strange and weird.
Yeah.
I think that from an economic standpoint, it sort of makes sense. But until... I don't know. It's not very effective, and it... kind of speculators need to lose interest in it before it becomes valuable again, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the fact that there are so many different types of cryptocurrency, and it's
really
tough to buy stuff.
You should ignore most cryptocurrencies that aren't like
Ethereum and
Bitcoin for the most part. The nice thing about Ethereum is it works slightly different from Bitcoin. It doesn't actually get harder to mine Ethereum because Ethereum is used for something. Like it has a built-in sink on it, so like economy sink. So people use Ethereum, and you can infinitely mine Ethereum, whereas Bitcoin has a basically a limit, an upper limit. Like technically, you could always mine Bitcoin forever, but it's like a always approaching infinity kind of thing where it just eventually gets too cost ineffective to actually do it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But that's just like weird economic stuff. I think it's weird as hell, and it's not super useful in general in the scheme, like Thel was saying. But I don't know.
I mean, there are places that you can like sell Bitcoin for like regular dollars. That's about all you would do, unless you're doing like fucking legitimate Tor routed deep web stuff. But like,
unless you're doing crimes,
unless you're doing like some real nasty fucking crimes,
or there is like legitimate things like if you want to pay strippers on like porn websites, like they can take Bitcoin because they can't take PayPal and stuff like that. So there are like strange cases where it is useful, but like it's not. Most people don't care about that. Most people don't care about Bitcoin, so I don't know.
You ain't gonna be able to buy a McDonald's hamburger in Bitcoin, and if that's not the economic standard, I don't know what the fuck is.
I think Bitcoin is incredibly interesting, like as a concept, but not in practice.
Yeah, completely agreed.
Yeah, anyway, why don't we get rolling here?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, because there's no more news.
Yep.
That was all the news. We're just clocking in at just over 2 hours minus a break.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
This is probably the most 2 hours our podcast has ever been.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Thel, what do you just released a Neo Yokio video?
Yeah, Neo Yokio video just went up today, and maybe this week? I don't actually fucking know, because I've been a little bit swamped with a bunch of stuff. I've released, like, in the last 2 weeks, I've released 3 videos, and usually I release a video every 2 weeks. So it's been a little bit crazy for me.
You've been
I ain't been able to work on the video that I really wanted to make, which is the video that maybe it's coming out next week, maybe it's coming out this week, I don't know. It's going to be a video about, like, my top 3 movies of the year, or I'm going to talk about them a little bit.
All right.
So, yeah.
I have some movies of the year, but I don't don't know. It's weird. Like, I've seen a fuck ton of movies, but I don't want to rank them the same way that I rank video games. I don't know. There's definitely movies that I enjoyed the most, but wouldn't necessarily want to like put a video out and talking about them.
Yeah, and it's like sort of like a top 3 thing, but it's not like a countdown or anything. It's like I'm gonna talk about these 3 movies because these were the ones that I really liked this year.
Yeah, it's not like this is my favorite. This is my second favorite.
Yeah, it's like these are all really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and then we're also working on a top 10 games of the year. Our plan is to get that out at the latest by the first week of January. So hold us to account. If we don't make it, yell at us.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Next week we will not have a podcast because it is Christmas Eve. So
dude, it's Christmas all gosh darn ready.
I know, right? So it's crazy. This is the first time we've missed a podcast on purpose for a long time.
Yeah.
But
we are
just
planning to not have it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry. But Christmas, there will be no podcast.
Yeah.
Wait.
Dalsson.
Motherfucker!
What?
I was so damn close to being able to make this joke.
Uh-huh.
What was the joke?
So close.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, we'll see you guys in a year. But Monday is the 31st. Or the 31st is a Monday, rather than...
You can make it next time.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Dalsson, you have your streams paused right now.
Yes.
Are you streaming at all, or is it random, or what?
I'm just going to maybe do random streams. I don't want to make promises because that was the whole thing that made me stop streaming in the first place. I kept putting out schedules and then I couldn't stick to them because work would either change my schedule or I would plan for like, I'll stream on Friday for sure. But then I've been doing nothing but working, and then one of my friends wants to hang out, so I do that instead, and I'm like, I don't want to stream. It was easier when I had a consistent stream schedule every single week, but the way that everything is going right now, I just can't keep up with a consistent stream schedule. So I will, whenever I feel like it, I might stream to this channel. Other than that, for now, I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna cut that stressor out of my life.
Yep. I mean, holidays are crazy. Everybody does that.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I don't think anyone will really hold it against you, even if they are disappointed.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking at you, Error 406. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we said, there might be a random one here and there.
Yeah.
I know that I've had to move stuff around myself because my work schedule and stuff is changed and stuff too, so I don't know.
Yeah.
That's about it for us this week. Also, there will be a link in the description if you want to join our Discord channel. There are actually people in there talking about stuff now.
Please do. It's rather active, so it'll be interesting to get some new friends.
Yeah. We like new friends.
Yep.
Most of the time.
And we're fairly active in it ourselves. I'm probably the least active, and I talk about stuff in there at least once a day. So
yeah.
You know, and if you ever need to get in contact with us directly, Discord is there.
For any weird reason. I don't know why you'd need that, but I mean,
if you want it, if you want to say hi,
I mean,
Saine, I hate your guts,
We also have an email address, so like,
don't give them the email address.
It's literally a contact email address. All right, fine.
Yes, we have contact@graveyardmedia.com. If whatever.
Nobody wants to email us.
I don't want to read emails. Let's be real.
Understandable.
Okay, so that's it for us this week. We'll see you guys next time, and remember, as always,
stay beautiful.